Hi, loves. Today's message is called Spiritual Growth, and the title is called Miracles. So, the question is, what are some miracles the Lord has done for you? So, think about what are some miracles that the Lord has done for you. I was reading earlier today about the children of Israel. There was a miracle that happened during that time, and that miracle was the Red Sea. So, what God did for them is He parted the Red Sea. He opened it up so that the children of Israel could walk through the Red Sea, and so that the Egyptians wouldn't be able to catch up with them and wouldn't be able to stop them from leaving Egypt. So the miracle was they were able to leave Egypt safely from the Egyptians and cross through water. So that was a miracle in itself. Maybe there's some miracles in your life. Maybe, for instance, you might have almost been in a car accident, but God protected you. He saved you. That was a miracle. Maybe you almost lost your mind and you ended up in a mental health hospital, but God protected you and He saved you. That's a miracle. Maybe you almost caught an STD when you were sleeping around with men or women, but God protected you. He saved you. That's a miracle. Maybe you had cancer, but then you went back to the doctors and they no longer found any cancer. That's a miracle. God saved you. Maybe your significant other almost cheated on you, but that's a miracle. God protected you in that situation. They kept them from cheating on you. So these are miracles in our life. Or maybe you were cheated on, but the marriage is still working. It's still going on. That's a miracle. Maybe your child was born with a defect, but later on is no longer there. There's no longer a defect. That's a miracle from God. So maybe, you were struggling in school or college and then God helped you to get through school. That's a miracle. Maybe you've gone through a lot of personal struggles which made it difficult to complete school. Maybe you had a child, a kid, or maybe you lost a loved one, but still somehow you found your way back in school, in college, and you were able to finish school. Or maybe you're currently in school now and you're going back to finish. These are all miracles. So that's something to think about. Think about the miracles the Lord has done for you. This will help you to be more appreciative of where the Lord has you at right now in your life. These testimonies helps us to keep us from going back to our past, going back to Egypt and our old mindset and our old nature. It helps us to continue to carry on with the Lord and to continue to grow spiritually in Him when we remember what He has done for us. It helps us to keep going forward and even get to the promised land and get all the blessings and all the things that He has in store for us. When we think about miracles, Abraham not having to actually sacrifice his son was an actual miracle. That was a miracle in itself. The children of Israel many times forgot what the Lord had done for them, so they needed to be reminded of the miracles He performed. They needed to be reminded of their testimonies, because that's why they kept going back and forth in the wilderness in circles and not getting to the promised land, just because they forgot what the Lord had told them. They started worshiping idols. They just started to do the things that the Egyptians were doing. They started to revert back to old behaviors and old mindsets, the things that the Lord was trying to deliver them from. They weren't listening to God. So we're being reminded of the miracles and our testimonies keeps us from going back, keeps us from being disobedient to God. It helps us to continue to obey Christ. Another question I want you to ask yourself are, what are some of the miracles the Lord has done for your family? You're not only thinking about miracles for yourself, but sometimes you see miracles in the lives of others, in the lives of people in your family. Whatever He has done for your family, think about what that is, what that looks like. And that can increase your faith, and also that can help you to grow spiritually in the Lord. Another question to ask yourself when it comes to miracles and just growing spiritually in the Lord are, what are some of the miracles the Lord has done in the Bible? The Red Sea was one of them. Abraham not having to sacrifice his son was another one. There are so many miracles in the Bible. Joseph being in the palace and then he's helping his people during a famine. Another one is Elijah, him hiding out in a cave, and then him being safe from Jezebel and Ahab, and him not being killed when Jezebel was killing the Lord's prophets. He was protected, he was safe. Then when God finally released him and to approach Ahab, he was even safe then. Ahab couldn't touch him. That was a miracle itself. There are some situations in your life, maybe you've been in a store or someone was shoplifting, it could have went wrong. It could have went really bad, being in that environment, but the Lord protected you. That's a miracle. Maybe you're in a club or a party and they were shooting around, and God kept you safe that day. Maybe he told you not to go and you didn't go to that party. That's a miracle. Even when you think of the World Trade Centers, the Pentagon, people that made it out alive, even with those planes going into the World Trade Centers here in the United States, that's a miracle as well. Another question you want to ask yourself is, how do these miracles affect your faith? So these miracles helps you to grow in faith, grow in belief in God, helps you to believe God even the more. Me, personal testimony, when I was a teenager, I believed in God, but I don't believe in him the way that I believe in him now, because I didn't see a lot of miracles and I didn't go through a lot of miracles as a kid. I went through more miracles and saw more as an adult. Even as an adult, even throughout your life, you're going to see even more miracles happen. And these miracles that God allows to happen, it will help increase your faith. It helps you to grow in Christ. It helps you to believe God, believe that he's real, believe that he exists, and believe that he's going to do exactly what he said he's going to do. He's a man of his word. His word will never turn void. It will accomplish everything it's set out to accomplish. So he's not a man that he can lie. He is the God of truth. So everything he says is always going to be truthful. So all these things are going to help your faith. Another question you want to ask yourself in regards to miracles is, how do these miracles affect your life? Maybe you find yourself living in another city now, another state, another country, because of a miracle the Lord performed for you, or you're at another job because that was a miracle. The Lord got you at another job. That's a miracle. Or maybe you found yourself with twins or triplets, or even married. These are miracles in itself, because maybe you were having a hard time having kids at one point, or maybe you didn't know who you were going to marry, but the Lord provided you a significant other, someone to marry. These are miracles. Another question you want to ask yourself is, how do these miracles affect you? So not just how they affect your life, but how do they affect you internally? Like, do you spend more time with the Lord? Your quiet time, you spend more time with him, spend more time praying. Maybe you're back in church again. Maybe you're fellowshipping more with like-minded believers. You're talking about Christ more. For me, miracles that the Lord performed for my life, relocating me, giving me a new job, a new place to live. All these things have helped to birth the Heaven's Calling ministry. All these things, these miracles he's performed for me, has helped me to believe him even the more, getting me out of two occult groups, even going through a mental health hospital experiences twice, and these visions and everything else that I've gone through. So all these have been miracles for me. And these things have helped my faith, helped me to grow in God, helped me to live for God and serve him, believe that he's real, believe that he exists. And so, you guys are going to have some stories too of where you're at today. Some things that have even brought you to this video today. It could be a miracle in itself. Maybe you had a grandmother or a grandfather that was praying for you to get saved, and one day you ran across this video, or you ran across another video, Christian video, and that's how you decided to make a decision in your heart to live for God and serve him and to give your life over to God. So there's so many miracles in our life. I want you guys to just take time to reflect on the miracles that the Lord has performed for you, the testimonies. All these things are going to help you to grow spiritually in God, also to appreciate where God has you at right now, help you to love God even the more and to appreciate him even more. All right, God bless you guys, love you guys. Bye.